Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk the 7 Deadly Sins, chapter 271, Sincere Feelings, the chapter that covers the introduction or the full, characterization of Hawk's brother Wild. Alright, so I'm pretty excited about this. 2 chapters ago I made my video for chapter 269, and there I was talking that Hawk could be from Purgatory given some traits, and these are the chapters that pretty much confirmed it. I'm pretty excited. Now I just want the confirmation for Kath to just have it all there, but at this point it's a pretty nice victory. I'm pretty happy, so I'm glad that worked out. That's my little bit of bragging. Let's talk about the chapter 271, Sincere Feelings. So this chapter, I'm ultimately loving it. I love it whenever 7 Deadly Sins talks about their side stories. I love it when they talk about character romances, and Zeldris and Glenda, I think that was her name, I think it was like Glenda or something like that. I don't know if the chapter like reiterated it, but we knew about Zeldris's loved one from a long time ago if you were following the manga. Actually, no, not if you were following the manga, if you were keeping special attention on the side stories. There was the side story called Vampires of Edinburgh. That's where we got to see the vampire clan. So what the author was doing in this chapter, he was pretty much bringing it in. He was bringing that side story and connecting it back into the story, which is just, it feels so good seeing that. And now, if you didn't know about that story, now you know what Meliodas is holding over Zeldris' head. When Meliodas like whispered to him, I'm pretty sure that loved one is one of the things that he got, or that he has in his back pocket to let to get Zeldris on his side. And one important thing to know here is this is, I think, Revival of the Dead is totally within the portfolio of the demons, right? Especially considering the curse that the Demon King put on Elizabeth. That is a curse that mucks up the natural order of life, right? Elizabeth is forced to reincarnate forever, right? That automatically tells you, like if you had the statement, the Demon King can revive people, it automatically has to be true given what he does to Elizabeth, because that is revival happening at all times. The question is, can the Demon King do a pretty much immediate type of revival instead of forcing the person to reincarnate? That's the problem, because Elizabeth reincarnates with her memories locked. Would that be the same kind of deal that Meliodas offered Zeldris? That depends. It depends on how much of a tragedy the author wants to make it for Zeldris. Does he want him to go through the same thing that Meliodas does, or is he just going to say, nah, the Demon King has enough power already. The fact that he can already mess with life is enough to justify that he can just straight up revive her. So if Meliodas has the power of Demon King, it stands to reason, it's totally logical, given everything in the context, Meliodas should be able to revive the girl. And given that we know that the capital of the dead is a thing, and that even when you consider that people like Maricilla can bring back the dead, I think bringing back that girl should be reasonable. Now, Meliodas in the original side story did apparently blow her up, like blow her to smithereens. So I'm not sure how it works with the bodies, because Elizabeth gets reincarnated on the spot from what we've seen with Liz. Actually, it's tough to say. It's tough to say. The reincarnation might be the cleanest way of doing it, but we will have to wait till we get the full confirmation from Meliodas in the future. So overall, with that aspect of it, I am so excited for this. I really like this aspect of Zeldris. I like that he had this relationship, and in terms of what this chapter gave us, I extremely love that it was Zeldris who had a loved one first. I like that little crinkle to the dynamic, and I'm ultimately very excited to see how this shapes out. And really, I want a happy ending for him as well. Everyone that has a couple or is part of a couple, I want a happy ending for. And you know, like we have problems like Montspied and Derriere, and then we have like problems like Bon and Elaine, and it's like, well, I don't know if everyone's gonna get a happy ending here, but I want it. I'm invested for it. But aside from that, we have other things happening in the chapter. The stuff with Hawk and Wild. Hawk and Wild. First off, before we talk about Wild, I want to just point out his furniture. This man is self-obsessed in a way that I think Hawk would be, but I think what's really great here is the fact that he has a fountain in the shape of a pig. that is hilarious. I love that extra little detail. And ultimately with Wild, the only thing I'm really questioning at this point is how does Hawk's mama get into play here? There is talk that maybe she is the mother of Chaos. But at this point, we still don't know. I want to know exactly what she is to Hawk and exactly what she is in the universe of the 7 Deadly Sins. Good God, I hope she is not the true final antagonist of this series, because that would just be... That's too much, man. Alright, I hope this thing is not the final boss. That would just be... Oh, no. What if Hawk's mama is actually the supreme goddess, like Elizabeth's mom? That would be hilarious. Anyway, the Wild stuff ultimately works out to just be the things that kind of throw us into the other parts of the chapter. And through Wild's talks with Meliodas and Bon, we got like the information about Zeldris, and we also got the information or confirmation of what the Demon King was doing with the animals. We saw Meliodas' bird in that little panel as well. Now, the only thing that we need to connect here is exactly Hawk once said that he had memories of flying through the sky. We need to reconnect that here, because now we have to start wondering, he has dreams or memories, one of the two. We have to start wondering, when he was flying through the skies, does he mean the moment that the Demon King whisked him away into the real world, or is he talking about his time as a bird? We don't really know what's going on with reincarnations in the 7 Deadly Sin aside from Elizabeth, but there's like some really weird little things that occur sometimes, such as Bon and Ro from the past that was dealing with the Fairy King and the Giant King, or the Fairy King's sister. Ro, do you guys remember him? Yeah. So reincarnation is ultimately very unclear for every other character that isn't Elizabeth in this series, and Hawk, because Hawk's technically, I think, reincarnated because he came back as a smaller form. Whether or not that's the Demon King's power or the actual power of the Purgatory Beast, who knows, man. Ultimately, I'm very interested in with that. And then finally, the chapter gives us more on the mystery of Estarossa. At this point, I think we should all be ready to expect Gowther has something. Gowther is doing something here, and I mean like old Gowther, because now we have a better understanding of this. Not only is Elizabeth's memory impacted, not only is Meliodas' memory impacted, the Demon King's memory is also horrifically impacted here. So that means to me, someone went and screwed something up on such a fundamental level that no one has any idea about Estarossa. So now that we know that characters cannot actively remember Estarossa after a certain point, we gotta start wondering, okay, well, like, what's happening? Like, there's a lot of weird things going on between Estarossa thinking he's Meliodas, and like at this point I wouldn't be surprised if Estarossa had memories of Meliodas, or Meliodas' memories implanted into him somehow. But we also have like the weird things with Mael, and now we have like people just can't account for Estarossa. So if we got like a turnout that Mael is actually Estarossa, who's had his memories like just played with to like the worst degree, wouldn't be surprised if we just find out Estarossa was pivotal in stopping the Holy War. Wouldn't be surprised if Estarossa is a clone of Meliodas, or like someone carrying Meliodas' memories. Wouldn't be surprised, because Gowther is the one that ultimately stopped it, and because Gowther is a character and his puppet are characters that can rewrite memories and all that, we really can't put anything past them. They could have pulled the biggest move, and we know for sure Puppet Gowther knows, because he's been looking real sad whenever people are talking about Estarossa. So interesting stuff overall. The next chapter is called Glorious Battle, so I'm hoping to see some pretty badass stuff from Bon. But at this point in time, this chapter has pretty much set up a lot of cool things that will give us a lot of payoffs in the future. I am so excited. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts, your crazy theories if you have any, and yeah, let's call it there. Till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.